guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Shreya, and in today's video I want to break down the exact strategy that I followed in the last 3 months to ace my 12th grade board exams. Now, with almost 3 months left, you guys are pretty confused about how to start preparing for your board exams, how to balance it with the competitive exams, JEE, and all of that. I'm actually going to share every single thing that helped me directly into scoring that marks, the resources, the books, when to start, where to start, how to start. I'm going to share everything. Before even starting, I want to tell a few things which you need to keep in mind. This is not like study related, but just a general heads up. You are approaching board exams or like any big exam of your life, make sure to take care of your health, because that is the number one priority before you even think of like strategies and everything, how to do, what to do. Make sure that you are looking after your diet, looking after your physical exercise, everything. It directly affects your memory, the way you're able to retain information, the way you're able to present it. So make sure you take care of that. And after that, wow, this looks super cool. Okay guys, so this video is going to be divided into 5 main chunks: clarity, focus, the resources and books, pyqs, and some extra tips. So feel free to skip and watch any part that you would want to in specific, but personally I would recommend you guys to watch the full video to get the full closure. My laptop right here, and I've noted down all the important points that I want to convey through this video, so make sure that you either note it down or just watch it carefully. Okay, first things first. Before even explicitly preparing for an exam or appearing for an exam, the timeline of the exam, when the exam is going to happen, should be crystal clear in your head. So make sure, since we have only like 2 to 3 months left for JEE and for boards, you need to have like a small little calendar stuck right in front of your desk. I used to take this whiteboard and I just used to like write the next like 2-3 months, and I used to circle them out and just write whatever board exams or whatever competitive exam. I think that is something which would just keep you in that mindset. It'll always be right in front of you, reminding you that, oh, days are passing by, I need to work harder. So make sure that you have it stuck anywhere in your room, most preferably right in front of your study table, or if you have like a whiteboard, like I used to do, you can just like make a calendar on your own, like just draw it with your own hands. That actually works the best. Okay, so since you guys have your JEE main first attempt from January 21st to January 30th, and your board exams start from 20th Feb, so you see the gap is just hardly like 1 month, and most of the people get confused of when to start preparing for boards and when to concentrate on JEE. Do I concentrate on both? I have an answer for that, guys. Major confusion of when to start, how to start, and like where to concentrate. That is where my second point comes in, which is focus. Okay, so when you're preparing for these 2 exams, you need to make sure that whenever you're doing something, your entire focus should be on that particular thing. So for example, right now it's November, so break it down in this manner. November to December, you're going to do 70% JEE and 30% boards. Then December to January, till your JEE appears, you're going to do 90% JEE and 10% boards. After your JEE is done, January to February, you have to do like 100% board grind. So that is how you should break down your routine, and make sure you never lose touch in any one and don't go all in. Now say for example, right now you have your JEE coming, but you're too stressed out because you also have boards and you haven't started preparing. So don't just like leave JEE and like start preparing for boards and like forget that you have JEE, right? I'm pretty sure none of you guys do that or will do that, but I think I was in that situation where I was actually thinking about, like, JEE, though I've studied for the past 2 years, but then you know what, to focus on boards. So don't do that. You should remember that your focus should not shift from here to there. You should have a clear plan in your head, make a plan and follow that. So your November to mid-December strategy is going to be focused mainly on JEE. If you're done with the syllabus, which I'm pretty sure you are, and if you're doing your first revision or second batch of revision, make sure you're doing it with your full focus, and in that itself the preparation for boards is just mostly going to be done, because boards is not like this separate ideology or separate concept altogether. It literally is the same thing, but what you need to focus in the last few weeks of board is just your presentation skills and how you can actually, whatever you're supposed to present it on paper. That one skill that'll actually help you get marks in boards. Solve questions, go through all of the important points, derivations, formulas, everything right now. Also, during this time, it's very important to read your NCRT. Now, if you have thoroughly prepared for JEE, NCRT was your first base, so you would have already finished studying the NCRT. But in the last few months, I would totally recommend you guys to read line by line, even before JEE, not just before boards. You need to read the NCRT line by line before JEE as well, because many questions directly just come from the NCRT. So make sure that when you're grinding for JEE, NCRT should always be on top of your head. Like, you have to read at least like one chapter or one topic every single day. Don't lose touch of the NCRT. So you do all this till mid-December. Then from mid-December to January, whenever your paper is, like 21st to 30th is the date. Say for example your paper is on 22nd, so mid-December to January 22nd, you're going to focus on your JEE notes or book that you've probably made, like an error book or something where you've written down all of the mistakes that you've made on all of the mock tests. Then you're also going to keep giving mock tests, not until like the last 2 weeks of your JEE. You should give a mock test like every alternate day. You should just keep going through and revise whatever information you've captured all along these 2 years. Don't try to learn anything new. If you've skipped some stuff, just let it be. Don't try to like gather new stuff and like try to understand that. So once your JEE is over, you are probably left with another 20 to 25 days for your boards. This is where your major preparation for boards should start. Okay, now talking about the books and resources for boards. Listen to me very carefully. In boards, less is more. The more you study that small amount of concept or the small amount of resource material that you have, the better it is going to be for you. You obviously know that for boards, you don't need 1,000 reference books. You just need your NCRT exemplar, your class notes if your teacher has given you like good notes, because they are usually aware with the CBSE patterns and everything, so they actually give like good notes and good points. If you've made good notes, these three are non-negotiable, and after that obviously your pyqs. So this is a screenshot of all the books that I used during my preparation. I'm actually going to show it to you right now. Starting off with the NCRTs, the OG, non-negotiable. Wow! Number 2 is exemplar. You cannot miss doing the exemplar. Exemplar is actually a little harder version of the NCRT itself, but the questions are actually super nice. I remember JEE level questions being asked from the NCRT exemplar. So NCRT exemplar is definitely something you should do before your board. And then another very important book is NCRT solutions. I know you get them online, but I swear to God, if you have a book and you can actually refer to how the solution is being done, it's so much more helpful. So definitely invest on these like solution books explicitly, because especially in math and physics, I remember when I didn't get a question or when I didn't understand how to actually write the question down, like looking at the solution would make it so much more easier to just picturize it, in my mind, and just break it down into steps and actually get an idea of how to present your answers in the exam. So make sure you use your NCRT solutions. Then also, for pyqs, I personally used these Disha publications, last 11 years CBSE class 12th pyq books, and these are actually super nice. I did every single paper from this book, and it actually helped me. Even the solutions of these question papers are super detailed, and they'll actually help you understand how to like write questions down. So pyqs are very important. You can choose Arihant or Disha. I found Disha publications to be like one of the best publications for pyqs, but you can actually take anything that works, like Arihant or You know, there are a lot of other publications, you can just go check it, but my personal recommendation would definitely be Disha. For English, I used this Arihant all-in-one English core. I definitely would suggest you guys to get one of this. It literally has past year questions, it has probable questions,
it has the meanings of those like difficult words. It literally has everything, and I absolutely love
that covers literally everything. So for English, this is the one book that you need. Obviously, with your NCRT, you have to keep reading your NCRT. So yeah, those were the books that I used for my class 12 board exams. Okay, now I want to talk about some of my favorite YouTubers that I would personally recommend you guys to actually follow for your class 12 board exams, because I know that you guys are probably like searching up 100 different one shots, 100 different 100 PYQs for CBSE board exams. Don't do that. Okay, so for math, personally, I never used like a YouTube channel, because math was actually pretty simple and self-explanatory. Since you've been doing JEE math, I'll honestly say that NCRT math is way simpler than that. You just have to focus on writing the steps, because there are step markings, and just interpreting your knowledge into the paper. That's all that math was. For chemistry, I remember watching Vora classes, which was actually very helpful. And also Sakshi ma'am like reads the NCRT book like line by line and tells you what is important. If you have time, you can definitely watch that. They've also done the series of like PYQs on their channel. That was also very helpful. Now for physics, there's this heavenly channel called Arvind Academy. I swear to God, sir has taught every single concept so well, and he teaches with so much joy that, you know what, you'd actually feel like studying physics, because physics NCRT is the world's most boring thing to do. Like you can't force yourself to like read the NCRT, and I just couldn't get past like 2 pages. Like NCRT, if you guys have done physics NCRT, you guys know how hard it is to like sit through each and every page. So Arvind Academy sir actually teaches every single concept so well. I used to like watch him a lot and like actually understand stuff. So definitely recommend his channel to you guys. So those were all the resources, books, everything that I used to get my preparation done. And I think this is more than enough. You don't have to like go through like too many things, because NCRT is literally your Bible. Go keep reading NCRT and exemplar, solutions, PYQs. That is the one mantra for your boards. Now coming to one of the most important parts, PYQs. Listen to me very carefully on this one. PYQs can either break or make your boards. I'm not even kidding. Like every year 40 to 50% of the paper is based off previous year questions, not directly, mostly indirectly. They ask literally in the same fashion, same pattern, just like twist the questions a little bit. So you need to make sure you do at least like a good amount of previous year questions before you actually go and give your actual board exam. November to December, get your papers. Like you can just go to the website and download the past 10 years or 11 years of papers from CBSE's official website, or you can just get a book like I recommended you guys to. You can do either of that. Just keep it with you till your JEE. Do one thing, just go through the solutions of the questions. Like say for example, you take 2023's official board exam ka paper. Just look at the questions once, then just go through the solutions religiously, like all the steps, everything. With your JEE ahead, you can't sit down for like 3 hours and actually like solve your paper. That you will do once your JEE is over. But before your JEE is over, at least make sure that you are aware of the questions that have been asked in previous years. So in the beginning, as I said, that you have to devote this November to December phase to 70% of JEE and 30% of boards. In that 30%, 15% should be like reading your NCRT and NCRT exemplar solving, and the other 15% should be PYQs, right? You have to just go through, glance the PYQ ka question paper, go through the solutions, read the steps, understand how you're going to actually interpret your knowledge into the answer sheet. So once your JEE is over, this is where you sit down and solve your previous year question.
Do it chapter wise, year wise, topic wise. It totally depends on you.
I personally did it year wise, because I feel like doing chapter wise PYQs kind of narrows down your thinking. So I would always suggest doing year wise PYQs, because there you have like a combination of all the questions from everywhere. So it's easy for you to map, I studied this here, so I'm going to implement this here. So it's very helpful. So I would recommend doing year wise. Make sure you solve the sample paper under timed conditions. Just put a timer for 3 hours, sit down, just solve each and every question. Wherever you're getting stuck, just make it a point to go back to it later. And once you're done with solving your sample paper, this is the most important part, that is analyzing it. Take your marking scheme PDF or the solution behind your book. It'll have like a detailed breakdown of what CBSE expects, like for a 3 marker, for a 5 marker, for a 1 marker, so you should make sure that you know how much you're supposed to write for a 5 marker. Don't overwrite, don't over enhance the information that you have, but make sure to be concise, point wise. That is what you have to practice in the last 20 days of your board exams. Writing, make a separate notebook for all of these PYQs that you solve, and make sure you have another book where you write down all of the frequently asked questions and the questions that you are going wrong in, because you need that book like 2-3 days right before your boards for each and every subject. And focus more on the recent papers, like say 2020 to 2024, because CBSE keeps changing patterns, so it's more likely for them to ask similar questions in these like last 5 years. So focus more on that. Coming to some final tips for this video. First of all, don't forget English. English is one of the most highest scoring subject. You can literally get a straight like 98 or 99 in English. It's that easy. All you have to do is read your NCRT thoroughly. I know like few chapters are a little long, but you just make like a checklist. I know there are like a lot of chapters as well, but don't keep it for after JEE, because English is a subject where you can just read it anywhere. Like say you're just going to your college, or like during the commute time, just make sure to utilize like those buffer periods of time for English. Read the NCRT, go through more and more papers or this all in one book. Just keep going through the questions over and over and over again, and once you actually understand the types of questions that they're asking, it'll be very easy for you to like frame the answer. So number one is understanding the chapter. That is not that hard, pretty straightforward. Second of all is going through the questions which have been repeatedly asked. Third is trying to frame the answer in your head. So for example, you saw a new question, just close the book,
Try to understand what the story was and just try to frame it in your own way, in your own
words, and then just imagine that, you know what, I'm going to write it in this fashion. For your writing skills, I would obviously recommend you guys to go through a lot of questions. Just keep going through the pattern, the formatting. You should not forget that. So just make a list of all of the writing skills that are coming for your exams, write down the formats, keep going through it over and over again. So the next step is going to be to know your situation and your state. What I mean by this is that you should know where you stand, optimize your schedule and strategy according to that. Now whatever I'm saying applies to most of you guys, but if some of you guys have already started preparing for boards like hardcore, and you don't have a lot of syllabus left just for boards,
you can go all in and optimize your timetable to just preparing for JEE and keeping like 10% to boards.
so you should know where you are standing at. Now on the other hand, if you haven't started preparing for boards at all, and if you've just done JEE, you should know how much amount of time you are supposed to allocate. Don't just like depend on one person, one strategy or one timetable. You should know your situation, and you should just be able to figure out where you are willing to put more time into. The next tip is to take making notes seriously. I know this is not the right time to tell this because you're in the end of your preparation. You've probably already made like good notes. If you have, just religiously read them, religiously follow them, keep annotating them. Even your NCRT, make sure your NCRT looks super bad by the end of your preparation. I used to like annotate my NCRT like crazy. I used to like highlight every single line of my NCRT, because I felt like if I did not highlight, that thing just like did not go inside my brain. That's how my brain used to work back then. Every single in-text question, every single back exercise, you should do it at least once. Keep annotating your NCRT over and over again, and I'm pretty sure with practice you will fall in love with the NCRT. And guys, last but not the least is going to be to actually just have a visual clarity of what you are doing every single week. Say for example, your week is done, just take a notebook or a diary and write down your progress. Like if you have prepared this much JEE, this much boards, this is my progress, this is where I wanted to be last week, this is where I am right now. So if you don't track down your progress, and if you don't understand where you are and where how much information you've actually taken in, how much is being retained, nothing is ever going to work out. Active recalling is very important whenever you study whatever, like JEE or boards. Close your book. You can either take a paper, write down whatever you've understood. That I did not do most of the times, but what I did was I either like closed my books, I just went to the balcony and I used to stand there and I used to think, okay, what did I just study? Most of the time it used to be a blank slate. That means I didn't like study it properly. So you have to be able to actively recall the things that you've studied, especially in the last months. Your brain should be able to retain more than, grasp, because all the grasping you've done, you have to retain and present. That is all that's important for these last few months. Make sure you keep the non-negotiables up there. Your sleep, your health, your diet, exercise, everything should be at par with your preparation. So there you have it. These were a few of my tips for managing boards with a stream of competitive exams that is coming in front of you. These last 2-3 months will test your patience, will test your hard work, will test you in every single aspect, but make sure to stay strong through all of that. These are just exams, they are not like breaking or making points of your life. You just have to make sure to give your best, strategize, analyze, work more, and think less. Stay focused, stay consistent. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in my next one.